Bloody Flicks. I'm your host, Pete.
And I'm Kyle, and we talk about all things bloody.
Alright, today we're going to do our top 10 favorite zombie movies, where of course I'm going to put my top 10 against Kyle's top 10 to see who has the best top 10 zombie movies. Now, this is subject to what we like, so each list is our personal preference.
And also what we think is a zombie movie, because we may not think 28 Days Later is a zombie movie, but you might, so...
With that said, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later is not on our list. Only because we personally feel that it's a virus, not zombies related.
Yeah.
Because they don't technically die, they're just controlled by the virus. So they don't get eaten, they don't come respawn.
Yeah, and they don't try to eat people. So, but if you think it's a zombie movie, you can put that on your list, and we'll totally agree with you.
All right, so let's get into it. Any honorable mentions?
I got a few. Redneck Zombies. You ever heard of that one?
Yes.
That's a trauma movie.
Like zombies versus strippers?
Yep. Dead Alive. That's... You heard of that one?
It was okay.
Okay.
Return of the Living Dead would be one for me.
And Diary of the Dead by George Romero.
And I would have to put 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, even though we don't classify on our list as zombies, but they're in the zombie category. They'd be an honorable mention just for the fact that they are still good movies, but they're not technically our zombie movies. So, all right, let's get into it. What's number 10 on your list?
Number 10 on my list is Shaun of the Dead. And the reason why this makes my list is because, for one, it's kind of I feel, the best zombie movie. Zombie and comedy go together pretty well in this movie. Plus, I think one of the other reasons why I think I like this is because the friendship that Shaun and his buddy Ed have kind of remind me of me and my best friend Andy. We would basically do whatever to help each other out like they did. And unfortunately, my friend Andy isn't here anymore, and I miss him very much. So number 10 is kind of dedicated to him.
Actually, that's number 10 on my list. I had to read my order when you got here a little bit, just because I was kind of like, what should I do? I like the movie. It's like you said, a comedy, zombie slash thing together. It's a cool zombie movie. There's a lot of zombies, even though it's supposed to be funny. I do like the fact that they put White Lines in there. White Lines is a song that is like do 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 do. Like what? That's White Lines. It's I had an old rap tape when I was younger about cocaine, actually. So, but that's what that. If you didn't know that song is actually White Lines about cocaine from the 80s.
Okay.
But maybe that's how the zombies, snort too much cocaine and they got it, But I think it's fun. They have some good scenes in there, like the records, throw the records. It's like, no, don't throw that record, throw the other one. But actually a lot of action when they get stuck in the pub. And like you said, the fact that at the end he's trying to keep his friend to play Xbox. I wish they'd make another one. Another one would be cool if they would actually go to get a PS5 or the new Xbox, and they're in line at the store to get it, and he's got his friend as a zombie on a chain, and then all of a sudden his friend starts biting people, and then this spawns more, chaos in the mall or something. Like Shaun of the Dead 2 would be. See, we own the rights to that. But that'd be cool, right?
Yeah, it would.
All right, number 9.
Number 9 on my list is World War Z. I've read the book that this movie's based off of. The movie, to me, I think the movie is a little more interesting than the book, but that's just my opinion. The reason why this is on my list is the fast-moving zombies are...
Not your favorite.
Not my favorite, but with this one where they're stacking on top of each other to climb up walls, I thought was pretty cool. And this movie basically shows stuff that, other movies, zombie movies haven't showed you. So, and I'm always up for something new.
Exactly, because it's hard to do something new.
Yeah, it's hard to do something new.
See if it's on my list. All right, we're at number 9?
Yep.
Number 9 for me is Zombieland.
Okay.
The reason why I picked this one is kind of like a comedy zombie movie, because it was different. I didn't see it in the theater because I thought it was going to be stupid. And then when I watched it later, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty decent. It's not the best typical zombie movie I'd go for, but when it's on, I do watch it. I like the Twinkie thing, where he wants Twinkies. The rules, I thought was unique. They came up with rules because that's how you stay alive, so it's kind of cool. And the kid gets by on pure luck. The ending was kind of cool, corny at the same time. They're doing rides up and down, shooting people. But the action in there, I don't know, it's kind of just a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
With some zombie eating.
Unfortunately, the sequel isn't as good.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. All right, number 8.
Number 8 on my list is Return of the Living Dead. One reason why this is one of my favorite zombie movies is it's written by John Russo that helped create Night of the Living Dead, and this was kind of like supposed to be his unofficial sequel to Night of the Living Dead. And reason why I like this is it's just, once again, it's another one of those kind of zombie comedy movies that kind of balance each other out and shows something different too.
Yeah, it was an honorable mention for me, but it was good. A lot of people like Return of the Living Dead for what reason?
For Linnea Quigley.
Yeah, her scene where she gets naked, of course, in the gravestone, which, that's a good friend of mine really loves her for that scene. So, but it is a good movie. It's fun. It has some dumb parts, like this when they're turning zombie and stuff. I don't care how much I love somebody. If they're like starting to eat people, I'm gone.
Yeah.
But it's a fun movie. I just thought the other ones were a little bit more fast paced for me. That's why it was just not mentioned. So, all right, where we at? Number 7.
Did you do your number 8 yet?
You know what? I did not do my number 8. I'm only skipping numbers. All right, number 8 is Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. That just came out. He was surprised I had that on my list. The reason why I put the new Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City on my list, which we will be doing a review on, so check. And it was different. It was based on the new game. I went in there thinking I was going to absolutely hate this movie, waiting to trash this movie, and I actually was surprised. It was pretty good graphics, especially at the halfway point. It was a different take. They kind of explain a different way of how they became zombies. You kind of see that. I think that's why I like the movie. It was something different in the beginning, how they became zombies. I kind of like that. They just wake up and all of a sudden people just get ate. Like 90% of the zombie movies, you don't know what's going on. All hell's breaking loose. So,
unfortunately, it's not on my list because I want to see it a couple more times before it makes my top 10. So,
and I'm sure we will watch it a few more times.
Oh yes, I'll definitely be adding it to my collection. So.
All right, number 7.
Well, number 7 on my list is another Resident Evil movie, Resident Evil Apocalypse.
Nice.
And I'll have to say that this is on my number 1 ranking of Resident Evil movies. This would be number 1.
Yeah.
I think this is the best of that series so far. The reason why it's on my list is it also very faithfully, in my opinion, follows Resident Evil 2 and 3, kind of. Of course, they don't have the, like Leon and Claire like they do, but, Jill and the Nemesis, those are probably the 2 spot on in that movie. That's my number 7.
Yeah, it's definitely the best one of all the franchise, and I'll love her more if it's on my list. We'll see. So, number 7 for me is Night of the Comet. This is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I would actually watch this before almost every one of my top 10. The only reason I have it down low on my list is because there's not a lot of zombies in there. The comet's going to come close to Earth. Everybody goes outside to watch the comet. Anybody that's not inside a steel enclosure gets turned to dust and dies, or they slowly mutate into zombies. Kelly Maroney's in there, and Catherine Mary Stewart's in there. So you got 2 hot, sexy leading women, and he's laughing because Kelly Maroney's in there, and that's why you're laughing, aren't you?
Yes.
But yes, I have a few autographs of her. But anyway.
Just a few?
Just a few. But there's not a lot of zombies. The zombie scenes are cool. There's a mall scene where they have some zombies, and the zombies are like, kind of like not mutated and full flesh-eating zombies. But the movie is just one of my favorites as a kid because I could watch it without being too scared because there wasn't a whole lot of gore, and it just became one of my all-time favorites. But for lack of actual zombies and killings, it has to be a little lower. So therefore, it's only my number 7.
Well, and I also recently discovered that movie within the last couple of years, so I don't remember it as a kid like you.
Just because I'm old. All right, number 6.
All right, number 6 on my list is Night of the Living Dead from 1990, the Tom Savini directed version. I actually prefer this version over the original. Don't get me wrong, I do love the original Night of the Living Dead. You know, it's
just a little dark.
Yes,
it's hard to see.
It's what started, you know, the modern zombie that we know and love today. So, but yes, I love the 1990s version. I think the reason why it's one of my favorites is I think more for nostalgia because I seen it as a kid when I was, you know, with my brother, and this is also one of his favorites too. And I think that's one of the reasons why. Plus, you know, updated, you know, the
you can actually see what's going on.
The effects and the gore and everything is a lot more, is better than the original.
Yeah, anytime you get an older movie, you have to get the remastered version. Mm-hmm. Same with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's really hard to watch the first one, but the remastered is just so much more enjoyable. You can see because some of those movies are so dark, you almost have to, you know, squint to see them. It's just, but yeah, and Tony Todd's in it.
And Tony Todd.
Yeah, and you actually see him, the first remnants of a possible Candyman. He gets out of a truck, go to the house, and he has a crowbar, which kind of looks like a hook. If you take that when he first comes out, it almost looks like a hook. Getting you thinking there. So, all right. We're at number 6.
Yep.
All right, number 6 for me is Resident Evil Apocalypse. A little bit higher on my list than yours. It is by far, again, the best Resident Evil movie. Anything with Mila Jovovich and a little side, you know, cleavage is good for me because she is super fine in all the movies. Big Bada Boom. Not from Apocalypse, though. Throwing all kind of movies out there, but I like it because it's fast paced, it's funny, but it's not stupid funny. The one character, when he's driving down the street and he's cruising all the zombies and he sees the naked zombie because we're all guys and we're all going to look at a woman's chest and the zombie's naked. He goes, hey, and then he wrecks his car, and then he walks to the police station and the stars are there and and they pull out their guns. And he's like, "Shit, mine's custom, motherfucker." It's funny without being stupid funny, and they don't throw a bunch of too many funny parts in there. And then the battle scene at the end is really good. The fact the zombies, and the dogs. Yep. I think that's the first. No, we saw the dogs in the first one, but the dogs in this one were just the way they did it were a little better. Everything is just fast paced, just on the go. It was a very entertaining movie. By far. It's definitely best in the franchise.
Yes, I totally agree on that one.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know, just laughing. So number 5 on my list is Return of the Living Dead 3. And one of the reasons why this is one of my favorites is I think it's because of the boyfriend-girlfriend relationship that they have where the boy truly loved his girlfriend and when she dies he would do anything to save her. I think if I was in that same situation, I would probably do the same thing. Probably till the point where she started eating people. Then it'd probably be a little too much for me, I would say.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to do until you're in that desperate situation where all life is ending, you don't have a companion or whatever. Yeah, good choice. All right, number 5 for me is Land of the Dead 2005. And I like this movie because it's different and zombies start to think. Because my biggest thing is, if a zombie could think to eat, he could remember and do other things. I don't know if he could do all the things that Big Daddy can do, but I like the fact that they hold up, they go out and try to get food and stuff from smaller towns, kind of like The Walking Dead does. I'm going on search parties and stuff like that. You got some jerks in the group, you got some smart ones in the group that want to keep everything in order. The character Big Daddy, who's the main zombie, he's cool. You just like him right off the bat. I mean, he's just a cool character. Some oddball stuff in there that's kind of weird. It's kind of like they're driving by and he grabs a gun off of one of the guys on motorcycles that are coming back to town, leaving town. Big Daddy does. Then he holds it, acts like he doesn't know what to do with it, but he has the he knows to put it over his shoulder. So it's little things like that that irritate me because he kind of just puts over his shoulder like he knows how to do that. As he starts leading them all the zombies into the town, but he's a cool character, and the fact that they could think puts a different spin on it. And it was pretty entertaining too. There's some action. I like the part where they go up to they have a big truck that just all ammunition on it, and I think whether they're getting some rockets ready, and the one guy driving is like, oh, we don't need all those, and they pull up to the gate and all hell's breaking loose, and there's zombies eating everybody. So yeah, that was pretty good. So
this one's actually on my list too, but we'll have to see where it's at.
So it's number 5 for me.
All right. So number 4 on my list is Train to Busan, and this is a Korean zombie movie on a train. Reason why this is one of my favorites is, this is actually probably the first Korean movie that I've seen, zombie movie wise. It's pretty entertaining, and it's kind of like World War Z. They're fast and piling on top of each other to get to their next meal. And yeah, it's another movie that showed me something I haven't seen before, and it's probably why I like it.
Yeah, and you rave about this movie. And I have not seen it yet, so I need to watch it. That's why it's on my list, because I have not seen it yet.
And unfortunately, we're getting an American remake of it, so I don't know how I feel about that one. And it's going to be called Train to New York.
We can't judge until we watch it.
I know, but I don't think it'll be.
We're going to judge it.
Yeah, we'll judge it when it comes out.
All right, number 4 on my list is Day of the Dead, 1978. The original Day of the Dead. I like it. Not necessarily because of the cool zombies, because they're not really cool zombies. They're pretty much just pale face with the dark circles under their eyes. I think I like it because the character Peter. I like his character. It is also the remake. I like the character Peter. He's strong. He's reasonable, but he's kind of like authoritative at the same time. I like the fact that there's they get trapped in a mall, of course. They're trying to hold off the zombies, and they got to figure out how to survive. And they have some cool ideas. Building a fake wall to kind of like hide from like people. I like the fact there's a biker gang in there, because if all hell breaks loose, there's going to be different gangs of people out there that's going to still try to cause harm to other people, and they invade the mall and stuff. And your guy's in that movie has a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, Tom Savini.
Yeah, he plays a Harley rider. So that's kind of cool. Listen to zombies. And that movie, they also can think. They'll have some remnants of what their past was. So I'm not going to say anymore because I have a feeling it's going to be on your list. Just a hunch, but okay.
So number 3 on my list is the original Day of the Dead. And one of the reasons why this is one of my favorites is the effects alone. The zombies themselves might be okay makeup. They're a lot better than they were in Dawn. Tom Savini upped his game in that, and the gore is a lot better. And Bub is probably one of the coolest zombies we got. A little better than Big Daddy.
I don't know about that.
But yes. So that's why I like that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It was a little slow.
Yes, it's slow.
But you like it because you watched it when you were younger with your brother.
Yes.
So I guess when you watch a movie at a different time, like Night of the Comet for me is different than other people. A lot of people don't like the movie. I love it. So
it took me 2 or 3 watches before I really liked it. The first couple times I watched it, it's like, this is kind of boring and slow.
And then it just clicked.
Yeah, and then it finally clicked.
All right. Number 3 on my list is World War Z. With Brad Pitt. I really did not watch this movie when it came out. I thought it was going to be stupid. I didn't think Brad Pitt would be good at this movie. Then a friend of mine let me borrow his DVD, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is really good. Brad Pitt did an amazing job. You don't understand what happened, but like some other movies that are going to come up on the list, it happens so fast. But I like the fact they don't have a normal person that survives it all. They have a guy who was in the military, who's a thinker, who knows how to get out of situations, that survives because he can outthink or think ahead or deal with the situation. I like that aspect of it. I like the fact that they use his family gifts him to bring him back to figure out what the heck's going on. So he has to fly overseas to find out where this zombie virus originated from. He makes mistakes, but yet he's still badass at the same time. I think I like it because right off the bat, shit happens. And the cool thing about it is that you see a police officer, a car hits his mirror off, and then a big drum truck comes in and just plows through all the. Well, obviously, people running, you know something's happening. So most people stand there, oh, what's going on, honey? Oh, people are getting ate, okay. No, he takes off and he follows the dump truck. So he had enough sense where a normal person would be playing on their phone, wouldn't even know what's going on. So I do like that.
And it is funny when the scientist guy that's supposed to know how to save the world shoots himself.
Yeah, because he was naive. He didn't know how to operate a gun, and if you don't know how to operate a gun, his finger's on trigger. He slips, falls, and kills himself. So
it kind of reminds me of the kill at Halloween Kills where she shoots herself.
Yeah. So, and the fact that there was like every time you start to relax, they bring another surprise. They're on the plane. Well, there's a zombie in the closet, and then it gets out, and then the plane crash. I mean, that's fine. The plane crash, and then anybody has to go put the virus in him, and then they find an antidote to fight back, which is cool. And then, of course, the zombies climb the wall, which is probably one of the coolest scenes ever. The only thing is that there's so much noise with helicopters, planes landing, all the people talking. How are the zombies not stimulated enough already to climb the wall? But it takes a girl on a speaker system to get them aggravated. Doesn't make much sense there, but it's still cool nonetheless. And just all out mayhem. And I like how they show the slowdown. They slow down the scenes of the sick people. Like the first time you watch it, you don't notice it until he says something that a guy crouches down and they just pass him by. Well, he's sick, so they need a healthy host to pass on the zombie virus or whatever it is. So,
and I don't know if we'll ever get a sequel to that because they've been trying to make a sequel for years and it's just never come to pass.
If they did, they would have to do fighting back and taking out the zombies. Don't try to redo another version of what you just made. Just go kill the zombies off and the war on the zombies. And be done with it. Leave the movie alone. So
yeah.
All right, for you.
All right, number 2 on my list is Land of the Dead, and I actually seen this movie in the theater. It was actually the first Romero movie that I got to see in the theater. Reason why this is one of my favorites is it's kind of hard to explain. To me, I think it's more of a continuation of Day. I think. Because in Day they kind of explain how society, like them in the underground bunker and how people would interact with each other. This basically showed how the rich took advantage of the poor. The rich lived all high and mighty up in their what was that, high rise?
Giant high rise.
High rise, and the poor people had to go scavenge for them. And I think this would probably be how it would be in real life if there was a zombie apocalypse. The rich would live in all high and mighty, and us, the middle class poor, would have.
Well, who has the power? I don't know necessarily. See, they make it seem like money's still of value then.
Yeah.
Because money would be no value, but they had value over the other people to do their bidding for them. But in real life, there's going to be the strongest that survive. So if you have a gang of people and you want to impose your will on somebody, whether it's for fear or whatever, you're gonna prevail because you have the strength or the arms, the numbers or the mentality. In society, you're gonna have that regardless, and that would happen in a world like that.
And almost all of George Romero's movies has some kind of social commentary, and this was kind of his way of saying, hey, people of power, they're going to rise above, us middle, lower class. And I think even in a zombie apocalypse, that would be how it would be.
Yeah, I think that the strong, whoever's the alpha and gets enough people around them would be the ones to be in charge. I'm not to say rich, but yeah, they're applying the money still in order because it is a town, so there's currency. And the zombies do think. So yeah, it was a pretty good movie. I like it a lot. So all right, number 2 on my list is Dawn of the Dead, 2004. It would have made my number 1 for the opening scene alone, but I do have one more favorite ahead of this one. If you don't watch the first 5, 7, 8 minutes of it and get hooked, you're not a fan of horror movies or zombie movies. I mean, did you watch that and get hooked the same as I did?
Yes, I actually seen that Dawn of the Dead about 4 or 5 times in the movie theater when it first came
Exactly.
out.
So I watched a video. I think it was actually a video that was like a prequel to another video when I was watching the movie, and I was sucked in. All they did was show the first opening scene where she escapes the house, the little girl comes in, and she escapes and crashes, and that was it. And I was hooked. I like the characters. I like all the characters in there. I like the fact that as Vin Rames, all the characters there are so good. I like the fact that the mall scene. I like the communication with the guy across in the gun shop across the street. They don't know if the zombies can think or not because there was a comment. Oh, maybe they come here, but they don't really know if they can think or not. They're kind of fast, but they're kind of not too fast. And then they do the breakdown as far as the whole intermission where they do the down with the sickness and the down with the sickness type thing, and they show them trying to be normal humans having sex in the one room or lifting weights or whatever they were doing, playing golf. So I thought it was really a good movie. So it's number 2 on my list.
All right. Well, number 1 on my list is a twofer, and it is the original Dawn of the Dead and the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake. First, why I would say out of the two, my number one is the original Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, number 1. And then we got number 1,
2.0.
2.0. So the original Dawn of the Dead is my favorite zombie movie of all time. I think nostalgia is the one reason, because I watched it as a kid with my brother, along with the 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead. We watched those actually back to back the very first time. And I just like the atmosphere of, in a zombie apocalypse, what would you do? Would you be the type of person that would want to go and have all the luxuries that you couldn't have before, hold up into a mall, and have everything you want? And then the remake, I seen that like 5-6 times, to be honest, in the theater. I love that movie. I think for what it is a really good remake. I don't think it tops the original Dawn of the Dead, but it's just ever so close to being in it. But yes, those are my favorite zombie movies.
You pulled a Pete and had a 2 for there.
Yeah, I pulled a Pete and had a
That's
2.
what I do. I always throw extra stuff in there. All right, number 1 for me is Night of the Living Dead, 1990. I know you like it's not the original, but the remake of 1990. I like it because the characters, Tony Todd. I like how it's not so much about the zombies. It's not, because the zombies are really slow, and I mean they can outrun them. And it takes a massive to break through anything, which is kind of cool. The old school zombie thinking. But I like the fact that the interplay with Tony Todd and the Italian guy, I can't think of his name, but he's the jerk. He's already in the farmhouse when we get there. He wants to bar himself in the basement. Tony Todd's like, no, we need to possibly get in the basement, let's work together. They do not work well together.
No.
They do not play well together. So you got the reasonable thinker. You got the other. Who's the main character? The other lady,
Barbara.
She's on Tony's side, but then the other guy plays such a jerk. And then the ending, I think it's more the interplay between them, because you're gonna get people with different thinking in a situation like that. You're gonna have the jerk, the one that's smart. You're gonna have the coward, the one that's gonna be not scared or anything. And then the ending where she goes back to the house. There's a shootout. Tony Todd and the guy, they shoot each other. He runs upstairs. The tiny guy. Tony Todd goes downstairs. Well, by this whole time, you kind of forget that there was a daughter that was bitten, that was brought to the house, that is downstairs. So then when the mainly girl comes back to the house, she realizes that Tony Todd is now a zombie, has to kill him. But the best part is the end where the tiny guy who hides himself upstairs comes down. He's like, "Oh, you came back for me," and she's like, pow, and shoots his dumb ass in the head. Whoopsie. So it's really the interplay of the characters that I like. That's what I like about the movie. So, and it's Candyman.
Yeah, it's Candyman.
Even though you didn't know it was Candyman at the time. So that is our top 10. So like, subscribe, please help our channel out. And in the comments, tell us your top 10 zombie movies all time. So as always, have a good day.
Remember, stay bloody.